Here in the waters of Rehoboth Bay, there's a potential for 35 million oysters to be farmed here every single year. But the problem for all of this water, there's just 8 people that are working in the oyster farms. Watermen tell me they need more people to get in, and those high startup costs are hurting them.
In this Rehoboth Bay system, we've got 89 acres that farmers could be working. And today, Jesse, how many acres we got working?
I'd say you're talking 10 acres at most.
Meet oyster farmers Jesse Atkinson and Mark Casey, 2 of the few oyster farmers that work daily in the Rehoboth Bay, raising oysters from the size of a pebble to the size you might find when dining out.
The restaurants want more oysters. They want more local oysters, more local product. The number of farmers we got now, 7 or 8 farmers now, can't supply all the restaurants.
And they say they won't anytime soon, unless a dent can be made in the startup costs that run upwards of $40,000 just to get equipment. Now, we're standing here at an oyster farm to show you what watermen say the problem is. They say that for every one of these top floaters for the oysters, they're required to have one of those white floats you can see behind me there. They say they're not that expensive individually, but if you're farming thousands of oysters, it can really add up, and they say they don't need them.
Every time Jesse has to put a cage out, he has to hook up a line like this with a float on it. This float gets tangled up and stuff, it fouls the gear, it's just extra work and cost for the farmer, it slows us down, and it really doesn't improve any boating safety.
DNREC mandates the floats to alert boaters to the oyster farm, but farmers say they already have plastic poles and signage, making the floats a costly and ineffective extra, especially with just how many oysters farmers must plant each year.
100,000 per year after your 3rd year. You have to plant 100,000 oysters every year, and that takes a lot of equipment, that takes a lot of cages, it takes a lot of cost, and it creates a lot of work.
Atkinson says for a one-man operation, it can be overwhelming to keep up with.
Once the temperature gets right, the food's right in the water, those oysters just start growing and growing, and you gotta chase. You're always chasing that bag.
Both hope DNREC will agree to set a lower minimum and get more farmers out in the bay.
If we can get that oyster planting down 50, 20, 10,000, something smaller, somebody's got a chance to get in here.
But it's not just about business. They say more oyster farms means clear water, and with it, more positive aquaculture impacts.
When I first came out here, there was hardly anything that, a clam here or there that I see now. You can hear the fish busting the water back there because of all the grass shrimp that are in these. It's like a big reef. The turtles, the starfish, the stripers, everything that's coming around. I think that's the biggest loss, because it's incredible if you come out here and you just watch, because we're feeding them. It's like a smorgasbord for them.
They say if regulations don't change, that fragile recovery and burgeoning local industry could be shattered. In Rehoboth Bay, Rob Flaks, 47 ABC, WMDT.